Remember that in Chapter 4, Empty Vessel, a distorted face in the mirror and music. What kind of treatment was done here? Why do the spirits of the patients continue to linger here, even now? Doubts well up within Ruka as she approaches a familiar room. This is the sick room in which she was once hospitalized. So a quick note there. Why do the spirits of the patients continue to linger here even now? I said in the first episode, which is Lost to Time, that Japanese ghosts don't just appear for no reason. There had to have been some catastrophe that created the ghosts. And so there's one like unifying cause that made it so all the ghosts became possible. It's sort of like you flip a switch, and now when people die, they turn into ghosts. We have to flip that switch off. Whatever it is. Chapter 6, Ruka Minatsuki, Tsukihami song. This is my room. Oh, as predicted, the door is locked, and you can guess how we'll get in using the help of the camera. Reveal to me thy secrets. The image of something was captured in the photo. It appears to be a painting of 5 girls. Is there an item over there? Alright. We'll check in with you in a second. Let's grab this item. Looks like a red crystals. Oh, we can kind of see outside a little bit. Not very well. But they actually did render the building out there. Okay. Heading this way. We saw a ghost vanish in this direction. And again, we talked about this in the first episode that's lost. When you see a vanishing ghost, rather than run away so you don't die of a curse, you pursue it. Because I did not wear this yellow dress and these heels to run away from ghosts. This is for running towards. Alright, this door is Silent Hill. In a previous version of Dolphin, this room would always be rendered in, like, all the walls would just be black. It looked terrible. Oh, does anybody... Yes. It's like, there should be a Hozuki somewhere. This room is pretty open. There you are. But you're an old one. Still, gotta catch them all. One of these days I'll get a walkthrough that will just tell me where they all are, so that I don't go nuts looking for them. The camera is detecting this. Something appeared, but it was a painting with blurred faces. In this picture, all the people have blurred faces, and then something fell down. My room key, which has a Eulalia pattern carved onto it. Of all places, why there? 5 girls, eh? There's something over here as well. A large decorative painting of a woman in a red kimono. Her face is blurred and covered in a dark red. It's impossible to tell what she looks like. Yeah. She does tank controls, so it can be hard to, like, maneuver around objects. 3. Okay, going back to Ruka's room. And then we'll learn a bit about her past. 100 points if you can guess one object that will be in Ruka's room. Ugh, Why is this door Silent Hill? Oh, it didn't let me take a picture. Alright, we're going this way. I guess the ghost unlocked it. He's having a good time. Ooh. It's a terrible photo, but it counts. Oh. Let's see what we got a picture of. We got man going into gallery. And a man paint. Yeah, I guess between these two there isn't something you can take. Yuko Magaki, inpatient, and Yuko Magaki. Yuko Magaki is both an inpatient and he's Yuko Magaki. He saw the insanity and paints a hideous picture of blooming on his drafting board, which the rest of us call a floor. Ooh, you think Ruka's got dolls? That's a good guess. Think about what we know about Ruka. While I read this book out loud. Magaki's work note. The vision makes me pick up the brush. Black, silent. I was not there. No one, nothing. Moment by moment, my memory is painted black, filled with more and more black. However, only the vision stands out in the total blackness. In exchange for my memory being burned away, I have received this vision. The vision has changed, like looking through a kaleidoscope. That moment is fixed, the light drilling through my darkness. I was born. I was born. I was born. I was born. Just looking around for Hotsukis. Oh. The wall is decorated with many paintings. Each one is painted in a different color, and they all contain disturbing images. Yeah, I guess. I don't... For a lot of these, I really don't know what I'm looking at. Let go. Oh, what a creeper. He's also got doll parts. Oh, this painting's like actually colorful. There's almost nothing this bright in the rest of the game. Let's just take it quick. This is really quick. There we go. I'll post that later. There you are. And I am not sure what the plan for this tub was. Oh, I can examine it. The bathtub is smeared with 100 colors of paint. Is he okay? I'm scooting past them, the curtain. Magaki transcribing his vision of the destruction of a crowd. Is it a revelation from heaven or the crashing waves of madness? There's a strange picture drawn on the floor. Countless people are painted around a red woman with a distorted face. Oh, I guess I didn't see that. Yeah, there's little, let me, people down there. They're enjoying it. Kids are here, too. Everybody's loving it. It's got a little bit of a Van Gogh Starry Night, like especially with the swirly pattern here. I wonder if that was an inspiration for the artist who actually made this. Well, I better hit the old dusty trail. And that guy's just gonna let me go. That's nice. Alright. Oh, this is moving. Oh, an item. Careful, careful, careful! Interview with Ruka Yomotsuki. Oh, not ghost. She's not on the ghost list. Yet.
テープ回ってます。どうだい？どんな気分かな？
お面をかぶると違う人が入ってくるの。わからなくなって眠ってるみたいで、だんだん声がして。
それはいつからかな？昨日かな？
わからない。お面？いろんなものになるってお父さんも言ってた。でもお父さんも違う人になったの。わかるもん。
そうか。
お家に帰れる？
もうすぐだよ。
お父さんも治るの？
すぐに良くなる。お母さんにもすぐ会える。
お父さんにも。
So this is our first hints of some of the things that Ruka experienced when she was a kid. Some key things there are the doctor said, "You'll be with your mom soon," and she's like, yeah. What about my dad, who's been changing lately? Will I be together with him? Will he be better? That seemed to be her focus. Ruka's main story quest mission is to regain her lost memories so that she won't die a horrible death like the other girls did. So it's a very vague goal. She just wants to know what happened when she was a kid. Even as a kid, she had a yellow dress. Is that a ghost hunting outfit? That's up to you to vote and decide. I say possibly. Here's a nice lighthouse by a Torii gate. Neat. Ruka, we know, was living with her mom, but we didn't hear any mention of her father in the cutscenes. Okay, that was weird. Did I take a picture? I took a picture of her at the piano, right? A young girl playing the piano. A hidden wavelength in the melody seems to resurface lost memories. Ooh, music magic. I love it. There's clearly something here. Examine? This is where I lived. Did I really live here? I can't remember anything. And that would freak me out, by the way, is learning that I stayed in this room as a kid and being like, I have zero memories of having ever been in this room. And now to find my own diary there. Since coming back to the hospital, I feel a lot better. I made friends with a girl my age, and the nurses are really nice to me. But sometimes I get sad. Why do I have to wear a mask? Why am I the same as my father? When the doctor plays that music to me, I remember all the horrible things. I want to become better soon for my mother, so I want to remember, but I'm scared. About the house, about the mask, about Father, Father's back, Father turning around, and from here the writing becomes illegible. Ooh, so she has some kind of tormented memory of her father facing away from her and then slowly turning toward her. There's an old upright piano. The white ivory keys still maintain their color, and it looks as if this piano was treasured by someone. I guess I didn't see any other... Oh! I can hear the sound of a music box from somewhere. Maybe this one? That's well lit? The sound that tickles the edge of my memory. It's pretty funny. Does this music box even work, though? A single gear is missing. But then how was it playing just now? Is it alive? Let's ask the camera for help. Ooh, who remembers where that is? A cradle next to a bed. Why is the gear in such a strange place? This room is... it's somewhat familiar. Who remembers where that gear was? 'Cause I do. I know exactly where it is, and it's over here, but not there. It was in here. In Misaki's room. Gotcha. I found a small gear in the bottom of the cradle. Easy breezy. Oh, there's something else in this room. Oh, including monsters. I mean doctors. Monster doctors. Flipping through the... and you can see a faint glow on the door because I can't escape during battles. If he aims that light at me and gets the attack off, then my whole screen becomes super bright because I get blinded by it and becomes hard to see. Yeah. I was gonna okay, I stopped. He was gonna rush me. It was good enough just knocking him back. I'm going to use the slightly better film because I want to kill him a little more hit because I'm tired of it. I used one of the special shots too. Oh, I can actually read a bit of what that says. That's the kanji in the yellow kanji there. It's three symbols. It's three different kanji put together. The top left one means car or vehicle. The one next to it is a javelin, and the thing on the bottom with three lines through it is a hand. So vehicle, javelin, hand. I wonder what it means when you put it all together. That's what I get for being so just I want to just collect everything, just take it all. I was once playing this this other spooky game, Deathmark, where you have the option of looking at stuff or taking stuff. And when I played with a friend of mine, all she ever wanted to do was take. She's like, forget about look, just take everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Take. Okay, we're doing the music box. I put the gear in the music box. It isn't turning. I have to arrange them properly. Oh, one of these little, like, kid puzzles. Alright, let's see. Too close. I don't see any need. Is there, like, I can't... Oh, I can only move these ones. Too far. Too far. Too close. Can I just put you somewhere for now? Okay, I like that. No? Okay. Oh, okay. This one can move. Let's get you out of here. Let's put you down here. Move you, like, here-ish? This is... Oh, okay. I think this one is... There we go. Let's do that there, this here. There we go. Now we're making progress. Oh, but I need to have this gear turn also. It's going to need to be turned by the big gear. Like that. That stuff all feels good. Oh, there we go. All the gears were connected. The music box started playing. I've heard this somewhere. If I play it on the piano, I might remember something. I'm very tactile. My procedural memory is very strong. And you know what this means, but we got this figured out this time. This score seems like a song. Like, a song like this must be... Alright. So, switch to that. We go to Options, Controller Settings, and we did Emulated Wiimote, Default, OK. Sweets. And then immediately go back. Options, Controller Settings, this thing again. That one, load, OK, OK, back.
So, 上手ね。ねえ、ルカ。もっと上手に弾けるようになったら。
Where is this place? I've been here before, I think. So we've been transported into one of Ruka's memories through the power of that song. And now we're in a totally different room. With a Hotsuki doll. Ruka's second diary. Today I played in the garden again, and because it's by the workshop, I heard a grinding noise. I thought it was Father, but it wasn't. I didn't get to see him after all. Father's always making masks. When Father doesn't stroke my head, I feel lonely. And when he doesn't hug me, it's boring. I asked Mother when he'll be done working. But I didn't get an answer. Pet my own head. Ooh, a kimono. On top of the antique desk, old textbooks and notebooks are lined up. Yeah, I'm in like a mansion now. And there's an exit over here. Good thing I brought the camera into my memories with me. Oh, I came at it the wrong angle. There we go. Hello, Hotsuki doll. And whatever you are. Well, it's a memory, so I can't get hurt, right? Mama-chan. Sayaka overlooking courtyard. Sayaka viewing the courtyard long ago. With the devastating scene before her, a shadow crosses her anxious heart. Oh, I wonder what she's looking at. Okasa? It's not that devastating to me, it's just a courtyard. Sayaka's diary. It's my mom's. I saw Ruka standing in the moonlit garden. I don't know what she was holding. She just stood there with a blank expression, muttering. Ruka seems frightened whenever she sees herself in a mirror. Before she blooms, I must consult Dr. Hibara. If I don't hurry, it'll be too late to see a doctor. I think Ruka may have had this problem for some time. Someday, when Ruka's cured, I'll see her smile. Her second diary. He's put the mask on Ruka. Various masks were placed before the altar. Is this what caused Ruka to suffer from the disease? He's changed. The time he spends confined in his workshop increases daily, and every time he returns from the workshop, I feel as though he isn't telling me something. His eyes have fallen deeply into shadow, and there's an increasing sense of darkness, but the strange, brilliant glow in his eyes only increases with each day that passes. The color of irritation is visible in the words he speaks. Now, whatever he is pursuing, he won't talk to me about it. However, he's clearly completely dedicated to it, even obsessed. What is he going to do? When I think about it, my faith in him wavers. When all of his work is finished, will Soya come back? Perhaps he'll never return. Such thoughts have flashed through my mind. He's so different now from the Soya I knew. I have to keep Ruka away from him. Ooh, family drama. So Dad was working on something and he became obsessed with it. And he was making Ruka part of it a bit. And Mom was against it. So she didn't want Ruka to see her own dad anymore. There's an old Japanese-style dresser covered with beautiful peonies on the framework. It contains several equally beautiful kimonos. We're really nailing down that Mom was like an idealized woman. An idealized mother. That door doesn't open, apparently. I will say Sayaka is one of my favorite characters in this game, especially considering she's just a supporting character. We don't get a ton of time with her, but the stuff that we do get with her, I think, is very well done. These narrow hallways creep me out. I always think, like, How does furniture get through here? What if there's a fire? Like, just feels unsafe to me. There's another shot of that courtyard. Again, not so devastating. But I guess the journal entry said that the devastating part was seeing that Ruka was suffering from the Luna sedata disease. Which it seems like, for everyone so far, is a death sentence. It's not clear why Ruka's alive today. Oh, a family altar with a mask inside. Inside the family altar, a mask has been enshrined. Small memorial tablets are lined up to either side. Memorial tablets? I don't see them. Oh, maybe no. Those are talismans. Oh, here, these tablets. These here, that one, and this one here. Those usually have the names of family members who've passed away. You pray to your ancestors because Japanese people believe, like we were talking about the underworld the other day, that you just go to another place beyond a body of water underground, but you're allowed back sometimes, and you have a better existence if your family remembers you and does things for you. It should be the closet that contains the futons, but I'm not sure that's all there is in there. Well, I can't open it, so I'm going to leave it. And then here, nothing to look at. Keep your eyes up for Hotsuki dolls. Oh! Whoa, that was a red glow. As if it was a vengeful spirit. Let's take a look. Young Ruka standing in the garden looking up at the moon. Her Luna sedata syndrome emerges and she wanders around outside seeking the moon. Photo of a man with masks. Is this a photo of my father? And we're back in the present. Image of the dad turning around. What was his face gonna look like? Okasan. An image of Sayaka from the past sitting in an old chair. She's considering what to do about her sickly daughter. What is going on in this hospital? I found a small cherry key. Ruka's third diary. Tomorrow's the day of the festival. I can see the masked dancing. I can't wait to go to the festival with everyone. But if I put on a mask, will I forget about everything again? This illness makes me lose my memories. I remember being sick, but the people who I can't meet anymore, the people who have died, my father, they all disappear. If I try to remember, I start feeling scared. But if I don't remember, my father will disappear. The father I can remember will die. I'm scared. I'm scared of remembering, but please don't disappear. The box contains a mask. When I took it out of the box and looked at it carefully, I faintly remembered something. This is... On the day of the festival when I was kidnapped. It hurts to remember. That day when I was kidnapped. What did they do to me? I guess that mask is not being added to the collection. Standing in the moonlight, a little of his lost memory is restored, but sometimes remembering can destroy a person's mind. Oh, more items in here even though we were in here already. Start with this. Maybe as they become more relevant, we pick up more stuff. This was a nurse's note. Stagnant air flows through this hospital. Hospital staff dying in accidents. Inpatients disappearing mysteriously. The sorrowful presence here suddenly began. Ever since that day, the behavior of the patients has become increasingly strange. The doctors and nurses are being crushed by the dismal atmosphere. After Tsubaki on the 3rd floor died, I've had to take charge of her duties there until new people can be hired. I had to take over. There was no one else. I maintained contact with the patient that left the hospital, the child that was kidnapped and found safely. When the child's room was cleaned, I found her mother's diary. The mother and child have left the island now, and they won't be coming back to get it soon. All it held was painful memories of the place on the island where they grew up. They may come back someday, and until that time, it's important to keep it safe. So this lady kept my mom's diary safe somewhere. It looks like it's right back there on the shelf. In an attempt to get herself removed from the madness of the hospital night shift, Nurse Tsubaki Tono hid inside the management body. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means the management office? Sayaka's 3rd diary. With a small the small cherry key opens it. I open the diary using the key. Ruka, I'm sorry. I don't think that I can take it anymore. When I heard from the detective how you were found, everything I believed in collapsed with a noise. They say that the tunnel they found you in was connected to the elevator shaft in Hybera Hospital. I realized that putting you in that hospital and asking Dr. Hybera to cure you was nothing but a mistake. And when I heard what condition your clothes were in when you were found, and what the tunnel was like, Who would have thought that that person was involved? To imagine that that murderer was really involved in all this. Then there really isn't any place that can offer us peace anymore. Mr. Kirishima said it was unreasonable to take me to the place where you were found, from the first floor Rogetsu Hall corridor crossing to Haibara Hospital. In the basement of Haibara Hospital, there's no elevator button that goes further down than the first floor. And that's where you were, against the old tunnel wall where the hospital's construction work was suspended, right under the moon reflection well. Only a thin light shines down from the dark of the well. The cold air from that place makes the body tremble uncontrollably. When I stood in that place, I could only cry. Back then, what happened to you? Why did your heart break? Your memories vanish. Dr. Katagiri said that even if your memory doesn't return, you're fortunate to have survived. For now, we must try not to upset the balance of your barely maintained mental state. From now on, maybe it's not impossible for you to recover slowly and return to a normal life again. But you probably won't remember anything from before you lost your memory. What reason do you have to remember when it would only break your heart? Just maybe, there's a chance that you may bloom. It'll be hard to lose our irreplaceable memories, but we need to forget about the things of the past, what you remembered, what's happened to us. We should only look forward, holding hands tightly. From now on, only remember the good things. We know a little bit that whatever happened to Ruka during the kidnapping must have stopped the progression of her disease in its tracks. But it's still not clear what happened during the kidnapping. So now, this is for Goosey. We're now going to see the close connection between this building and the hospital. Because there is a connection. Once this elevator comes, don't you hate waiting for the elevator? It's like there's only 4 floors. Alright, let's go down to floor 1. Remember, there's wheelchairs blocking the staircase, so we can't just walk down. The darkness is so inky on my screen. It must look that way on the capture as well. She's coming. I gotta go this way. I gotta run away. Slowly open the door while she waits. Okay, back in the dining room. Are things okay? Alright, things are slowly lightening up. There we go. Alright, we're safe. My dress is yellow again. That's how you know you're not about to be killed. Go this way. There's a little bit of backtracking here, but not for much longer. Oh, that part of the ceiling is just is all wires. I like these corridors because they're so atmospheric. The curtains blowing gently in the cold wind. This game, since it takes place mostly indoors, there's not a lot of interaction like with nature. In the third game, there is to a very limited extent. Whenever anybody has a nightmare, it's always snowing in the nightmare. Which I think is such a neat idea for a scary setting. A place where the snow is falling gently. But for anybody who lives like in areas where it does snow, there is a scariness to being outside for too long in the cold. In any case, if we bring up the map, we've explored everywhere on the first floor already. We've been around here a few times. We've never opened this double doors because we didn't have the key to it, so there's no point in me even touching it. But now I'm going to touch these double doors. It's locked. Oh, it said there was a. I thought I had the key. We just saw on the map. All right. Well, we'll take a picture of the lock. Help me, camera obscura. That trap door in the breaker room. The place is dim like a basement. Yeah, we're going. It's time for the second episode of janitorial work with Ruka. She loves doing it. Ooh, and an item. Hello. Oh, there's actually an area on the second floor right above me. It's funny because I played the game through several times without ever going up to it, and I never showed you guys it in this playthrough so far either. I'm gonna run upstairs and check it really quick, just to show what it looks like. It's a neat little tucked away area. I think sometimes it has an item, so we'll see. I might get a prize for making the trip up the stairs. So we've always gone over that way, but actually back here is like a little alcove and like a little workstation, little desk. Like, I think this would be a neat place to have like my little cubicle. Got a little couch if people want to visit. I got a curtain if I need some privacy. It's nice. I could work happily there. I definitely, like when I've had classrooms where they're tucked away in the school building, it's nice to have that distance from everybody. Alright, back to the breaker room. Let's see what we can find. Still no sign of a Hozuki doll. I'll walk slowly in case I can hear it. Yeah, no jingle jangles for me. Ooh. This is not the first time she's appeared in this area for us. She loves the breaker room. Let's see what her notes say. There she is. A woman's shadow, upon seeing her, gives one a terrible sensation. The atmosphere created as she emerges from the building is suffocating. So she's like an extremely vengeful spirit. We don't know who she is, what she's about. All we know is that she is extremely dangerous. Oh, this was not opened before. Oh, and that thing I thought was a Hozuki doll was... I saw it again. It's still not a Hozuki doll. Are you a ghost hand? Nope, you're the power-up lens blow. It blows. Alright, let's look at this abyss. Yeah, reach down in there, Ruka. Oh, somehow she found a long iron key. Access path is written on it. So now, those double doors can be unlocked. Hello. Yikes. That spooked me. Let's see what she... Oh my gosh! Coming back for more. Whew. Okay. That barely hurt at all, even though she got a free hit in. Duty nurse's note 1. Who the hell was that nurse? There's no change today. She's still unconscious, sleeping. I'm afraid. Is she still alive in this state? I looked at her cardiovascular and EEG data, which were in the doctor's desk. I don't know what she was holding, but if you look at little things in the numerical data, she may as well not be. Sometimes I can't help feeling like her eyes have opened. In my mind, I know it'll be a blessing if this patient recovers, but even so, my heart trembles with uneasiness. When she opens her eyes and opens that door, I know the world will collapse. So that seems to have been the last moments that nurse had. She was supposed to be here in this, like, in a break room. That's a weird place for a nurse to be. Apparently she was here because on the other side of the filthy door, there's that morning shrine, and that girl was in there in some kind of a near death or undead state, something. And the nurse had this awful, like, Lovecraftian vision or nightmare that at some point this basically dead girl was going to open her eyes and open that door and destroy the world. And eventually the door did open. So that super strong ghost that we've been running away from, she must have been stored down there before she became a ghost. And I've been running away from her because she's so dangerous. I guess other people maybe didn't know to run away or something. Maybe they weren't wearing ghost hunting outfits. It's tough to fight ghosts without these. Even with this outfit, though, it's no defense. I used the long iron key. So here we go. The final door in this place, and it leads to some glass cases. And there is something in here. Here we go. Oh, just some crystals. It looks like almost like a museum. Oh, some steps that go down. Some carvings. Some ghosts. This one has that thing on its head. This guy, he's the older brother of that girl with super long hair. He had the thing with his eyes. Oh, jeez. And the camera doesn't know where they are right now. Alright, he's down. And that guy too. That's messed up that that thing on his head even like is still attached to him even as a ghost. That was that thing that they used on Mitsuki. Yeah, Mitsuki. Misaki, not Mitsuki. Misaki. Alright, so here it is, Goosey. On the other side of that little hallway is the hospital. They weren't just connected by the doctors that worked at the two places. They were connected physically by that hallway. Looking on the map, this is the hospital, and here's the building that we had been spending our time in. The Rogetsu Hall. So I didn't want to spoil that earlier, because they had that little reveal right now. So Ruka wants to get to, according to what her mom said, she wants to go take the elevator down as far as it will go. So let's see if Ruka's able to just take the elevator without having to go on some wild goosey chases. Oh, the elevator's open. Little girl with the hair. Was she waiting for me? Oh, there's a chair in the corner of the elevator. Patient Asagi Hizuki. After her surgery, her condition steadily worsened. Her behavior became erratic and her emotions extremely unstable. So I want to go to this one, right? The super secret basement. Oh, and the elevator started to move, so I don't even have to do a thing. Yeah, now that you mention that, she does have like the classic Yude. Oh my gosh. Dude right there. And a Hotsuki. Classic Yude, which is a type of Japanese ghost, looks like a woman in like a white shroud, disheveled hair, hands hanging down, no feet. And so Asagi looks kind of like that, because Sadako looks like a classic Yurei. Rei, which remember means ghost, like the name of this game, Project Zero, or Project Rei, because the Rei also means zero. Project Zero equals Project Ghost. Oh, and as a fun fact, in the third game, the main character's name is Rei, also like the number 0 and like the word for ghost. Also, the name of the character who's Sailor Mars and Sailor Moon. All of them are Rei. Rei's fiance, who dies before the beginning of the game, his name is Yu. So together their names form Yu-Rei, which together also means ghost. Coco.
この匂い、ずっと時が止まっているような。私、ここにいたことがある。なんだろう、ずっとここにいたかったような甘い感覚。自分が溶けていくような。